Farmers are planting thousands of acres of crops this spring, and that means increased encounters between tractors and traffic on our roadways. Cooperative Extension Agent Colby Lambert highlights ways motorists can safely share the road with farm equipment.
Well, planting season is getting ready to gear up in Cumberland County, and with the extremely wet weather we've had in North Carolina this winter, there'll be a lot more traffic as far as tractors and equipment on the road. It's kind of pushed the farmers back on their field work through the winter months. So there'll be a lot of tractors, a lot of large tillage equipment. So it's important for motorists to, watch out for those tractors, watch out for that equipment as they're going on these secondary roads, because there'll be a lot more of them on the road this season. Well, we have fewer farmers than we had even a few decades ago, and especially from 50 years ago. A lot of the farmers that we have left, which are very few, have to farm larger acreages in order to meet the demands for our growing population. So the equipment naturally has to become larger for them to be more efficient in how they operate. Most of our secondary roads are probably the same size they were when we had the little small International Cub tractor. So it's important for the motorists to watch out for those tractors on the road. According to the UNC Center for Highway Safety, between 2003 and 2008, there were approximately 1,300 accidents involving farm equipment on the highways in North Carolina. Most of those involve tractors. There are some that involve combines and other types of farm equipment, but it's mostly with tractors. In Cumberland County, we average probably around 5 accidents a year. In Robeson and Sampson County, those numbers can be much higher, especially since they have a lot more farm acreage and farmers in those counties. But it's important for the motorists to realize that those large tractors can't stop very easily. They're very heavy, and the operators can't see a lot around them, especially small cars and trucks. So it's very important for folks to slow down and give them some room. The main thing is visibility requirements, signage. Most of the equipment needs to have either reflective tape, the slow-moving vehicle signs, or strobe lights. In some cases, they need to have flags. According to the DMV, if it's with certain width requirements, they even have to have flag cars to escort them up and down the highways. So that's the main thing, is visibility for those vehicles. As far as having a certain type of license or something, there's not really a requirement for that. The biggest cause for accidents is either failure to reduce speed or improper passing. So for motorists, the key is, when you see these large tractors going down the road, is just to slow down first. And the other thing is to make sure that you can see around them when you're trying to pass them. Especially do not pass in a curve, and you want to make sure that the operator can see you. Just like an 18-wheeler, if you can't see the operator in the cab, or you can't see him in the mirror, then he can't see you. 18-wheelers have around 7 blind spots. Some of this farm equipment and tractors towing large implements could have more blind spots. So the key is just to have some patience. Give that operator some time to pull over on the shoulder of the road so that you can safely pass, and just try not to come up on them too fast. And when you do pass them, try not to turn off real sharply in front of them. These tractors and equipment can sometimes weigh more than an 18-wheeler. And your typical 18-wheeler loaded is 80,000 pounds. So, you know, the tractors are not going to be able to stop. They're not going to be able to maneuver very well, as large as they are. So it's key to just to have some patience and slow down and just be cautious and be attentive. The main thing is, you know, these farmers are trying to feed us, and they're just trying to do their job, and they're trying to get the work the same as the rest of us. Their vehicles are just a little bit slower and a little bit larger than what we drive. If you need to leave a little bit early, I would suggest doing that these next few months, especially if you live out in the country, because there will be a lot of those folks out there. And like I like to say, you know, you need a doctor once in your life, maybe, a lawyer or a dentist, but you need a farmer 3 times a day, every day. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully we'll have a good, safe farming season this year.